Welcome back to Will Rev. When you first see the 2026 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-4 in person, it doesn't look like a small bike. That's the beauty of Kawasaki's design approach. It carries the same DNA that runs through the ZX-6R and ZX-10R, so from a distance or even parked among bigger siblings, it has that same aggressive Supersport stance. The bodywork is sharp and sculpted. The twin LED headlights glare like a predator's eyes, and the ram air duct positioned between them screams high performance before you even touch the starter. For many riders, appearance is the first hook, and Kawasaki nails it with a machine that looks every bit as premium as bikes costing thousands more. Once you swing a leg over, you immediately realize the ergonomics are sporty but not punishing. The seat height, right around 800 mm, makes it approachable for a wide range of riders, and while the bars are low enough to put you in a forward-leaning stance, they don't twist your back into knots. This is a bike that acknowledges most owners will ride on the street, not just the track. The tank is sculpted in a way that your knees lock in perfectly, and the seat narrows toward the front to make reaching the ground easier. There's a level of comfort balance here that you wouldn't expect from a machine capable of screaming past 15,000 RPM. Fire up the inline-four and everything changes. It doesn't growl like a parallel twin or thump like a single. Instead, it has that unique high-pitched wail that we usually associate with bigger supersports of the past. Blip the throttle and the revs climb fast, almost eager, and you can't help but smile. On the road, that translates into an addictive soundtrack that keeps building the higher you go. Unlike some larger sport bikes that feel intimidating at city speeds, the ZX-4 is playful. You can rev it, explore its character, and it never feels like it's straining against you. But twist the throttle hard and let it climb into the upper range of the tachometer, and suddenly the bike transforms into a mini missile. Out on twisty back roads, this is where the chassis and suspension shine. The Showa SFFBP fork delivers feedback that makes you confident in pushing harder, and the radial brakes clamp down with real authority. The feedback through the lever is progressive, not grabby, so newer riders can build skill without fear, while experienced ones can push hard into corners knowing the system will back them up. The rear shock, especially on the RR version, communicates exactly what the rear tire is doing. That's something a lot of smaller bikes don't deliver. Many of them sacrifice high-end suspension to cut costs. But Kawasaki didn't compromise here, and that's one reason the ZX-4 feels more expensive than it is. Electronics add another layer of confidence. With traction control and ABS as standard, plus multiple riding modes, you can tailor the bike to your comfort zone. In wet conditions, rain mode softens throttle response and adds more intervention. In sport, the throttle sharpens and traction control relaxes, letting you unleash more of the bike's character. Rider mode allows you to customize, which is especially handy for riders who want ABS intervention but prefer more direct throttle feel. For the track, switching to circuit mode on the TFT brings up information that actually matters when you're chasing lap times, gear position, lap timer, and a focus on revs above 10,000, where this bike lives when you're going flat out. Daily usability is another area where the Ninja ZX-4 surprises. While it's a high-strung engine, the fueling is smooth at low RPM, so commuting in traffic isn't a chore. The clutch is light, the gearbox clicks cleanly through ratios, and on the SE and RR models you get a quick shifter that makes upshifts seamless and addictive. Filtering through traffic, the bike's relatively narrow profile helps, though you do feel the nearly 190 kg weight when compared to something like a KTM RC 390. But the payoff is stability at higher speeds. This is a bike that doesn't twitch or wander. It holds a line, even if the road surface isn't perfect. Fuel economy sits at about 5.1 liters per 100 kilometers, which translates into roughly 47 miles per gallon. With a 15-liter tank, you can get almost 300 kilometers before refueling if you're riding sensibly. Of course, if you're wringing it out at every opportunity, that number dips, but that's part of the experience. This isn't just a commuter, it's a machine that begs to be enjoyed. Comparisons are inevitable. The Kawasaki Ninja 400 is a fantastic machine for new riders, lightweight and affordable, but its parallel twin engines simply doesn't provide the same excitement at the top end. The Yamaha R3 is sharp and agile, but again, it doesn't have the visceral character of a screaming 4. KTM SRC 390 delivers aggressive handling and strong torque from its single, but it lacks the refinement and smoothness of an inline-four. This leaves the ZX-4 in a unique position. It's practically alone in offering a 4-cylinder 400 cubic centimeters sport bike in today's market. That uniqueness is its strongest selling point, because once you ride it, you immediately realize it isn't just another step-up bike. It's something enthusiasts can own long-term and still enjoy even after moving to bigger machines. On the track, testers have found that the Ninja ZX-4 punches far above its weight class. With top speeds around 230 km per hour and an engine that rewards aggressive riding, it's a legitimate track tool. Riders coming from 600 cubic centimeters Supersports will find the chassis familiar, though obviously the power is less, but that makes it more approachable. You can use more of the throttle more often, which ironically makes it feel faster in many scenarios because you're always closer to its limits. For riders learning racetrack or corner speed, this bike is perfect. It forces you to carry momentum, to focus on technique, rather than simply relying on brute horsepower. Pricing is another element that deserves attention. At just under €9,000 in the US for the base model and closer to €9,000 in Europe, the ZX-4 positions itself higher than twin-cylinder 400s and singles, but significantly lower than full-blown 600 cubic centimeters Supersports. That pricing reflects the engineering that goes into building a high-revving 4-cylinder engine, along with the premium suspension and electronics package. The RR version, with its upgraded suspension and quick shifter, stretches closer to €10,000 or €9,700, but for riders who want the full experience, it's worth every penny. Considering the rarity of this engine configuration in today's emissions-constrained market, it feels like Kawasaki is offering something special at a time when most manufacturers have moved away from high-revving small-displacement 4s. Unique selling points. The sound is the first. No other bike in this class gives you that motoglike wail at 15,000 RPM. The second is handling. Few bikes under 600 cubic centimeters provide this level of feedback and precision. Third, the design and technology package. It looks like a premium Supersport and comes loaded with electronics usually reserved for larger bikes. And finally, the emotional factor. This is not just a tool to get from point A to point B, it's a bike that makes you want to take the long way home, to ride past your exit just to hear the engine sing one more time through the gears. Critics might point to the weight as a downside, and sure, at 188 to 189 kilograms curb, it's heavier than a Ninja 400 or an R3. But once you're riding, that weight translates into stability and planted feel, not clumsiness. Others might say the power only really comes alive high in the rev range, making it less forgiving if you're lazy with shifts. But that's part of its character. It's a bike that asks something of its rider. It rewards involvement. And for enthusiasts, that's exactly what makes it special. Imagine pulling up to a meet on this bike. Most people will expect the familiar sound of a parallel twin, but instead, you hit the starter and the inline-four crackles to life. As you rev, heads turn, people realize they're hearing something rare. And when you take it out on the road, it's not just about the numbers, it's about how the bike makes you feel. The rush of climbing past 12,000 RPM, the smooth shift into the next gear, the way the chassis stays composed even as you push harder, that's the kind of emotional connection that few bikes in this category deliver. In many ways, the Ninja ZX-4 is a reminder of what sport bikes used to be about. Before the market shifted toward torque-rich twins and beginner-friendly singles, there were machines like the CBR 250RR and ZXR 400 that screamed to the heavens and rewarded skilled riders. Kawasaki has revived that philosophy with modern touches, traction control, TFT screens, Bluetooth connectivity, LED lighting, so it's not just nostalgia, it's a genuine next-generation machine. For new riders who want a bike that they won't outgrow too quickly, the ZX4 makes sense. It has enough performance to keep experienced riders entertained, but it's also approachable enough that a committed beginner could grow into it. For track day enthusiasts, it's an affordable way to get a taste of supersport riding without the financial and physical commitment of a 600. And for collectors or purists, it's likely to become a cult classic, because there's no telling how long manufacturers will continue building small displacement inline-fours. So, at the end of the day, what is the 2026 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-4? It's not just another middleweight sport bike. It's a statement. It's Kawasaki saying that character and excitement still matter, that there's still a place in the world for high-revving engines that make you grin every time you twist the throttle. It's a machine built for riders who love riding, not just commuting, not just posing, but really riding, exploring roads, chasing lap times, and feeling alive.